This is our Eco Column final project by Naama Barrios, Cassandra, Dillon, and Ryan Dillon.
Our soil measurements were rather interesting. Over the 8-week period that we had to grow these plants, we gave them about half a cup, if not less than half a cup, consistently over alternating days, including Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We attempted to grow 5 different plants, including the green bean, Cherokee waxbush, chamomile, garden bean contender, basil, and radish. We only saw significant growth from the Cherokee wax bean and contender garden bean, with some growth from the radish, which died off after the 4th week. During the first 3 weeks, we saw significant growth from both the green bean, Cherokee waxbush, and garden bean contender until the 3rd week, where they both started sprouting their own respective beans and slowed down their progressive growth. And both of them eventually reached a height of 20 centimeters there. And yeah.
As for adjustments, observations, and design, the first adjustment we would make to our eco column is to use another soil. When we first started, we didn't crush the soil enough, leaving the water to not drain efficiently. Furthermore, we would also change the quantity of water we used when watering the plant. The first time we watered the plant, we overwatered it, and other times we forgot to water it. Lastly, we would have chosen different seeds, seeing as only the beans grew. We would still choose the 2 beans, but not pick the chamomile or the basil, as those did not grow at all. These changes would have improved our eco column, because basil, one of the seeds we chose, requires a rich, well-drained soil with organic matter and takes a lot of nitrogen from the soil. So by not choosing that seed, we could have had better chances with growing other plants besides the legumes. Furthermore, all the chambers in the eco column affect each other in different ways. So each chamber plays its own role. There are a total of 3 chambers: the terrestrial, the decomposition chamber, and the aquatic chamber. The top chamber, which contains the plants, provides food and oxygen for the organisms in the other chambers, while the decomposition chamber breaks down organic matter and releases nutrients into the aquatic chamber. Whereas the bottom chamber, which is the aquatic chamber, which can be seen in the picture, relies on the decomposition layer for nutrient cycling and the filtration of water. Eco columns also play a role in many different cycles, such as the nutrient cycle. Aquaponics is designed to cycle nutrients through the symbiotic relationship between the aquatic plants and the terrestrial plants. Fish waste provides nutrients while the plants filter out the water. As for nitrogen, the fish waste is converted from ammonia to nitrate, and then nitrite then makes it available to the plant. For the food cycle and human consumption, the eco column serves as a sustainable design when considering the food cycle and human consumption. As the aquaponics system provides the nutrients necessary, the plant grows and is eventually ready for harvest, then is ready for human consumption. The old food can then be used as compost, which will again help support growing crops by providing nutrients. The water cycle can also be showcased within the eco columns because it shows the process of evaporation, condensation, and precipitation within a closed system. It also demonstrates how water moves through different chambers, such as the terrestrial to aquatic, which is just how water moves through the earth.
As for the design of our aquaponics system, having plants that don't need as much maintenance and don't die as easily, such as legumes, can add nitrogen to the soil. And having a tank of fish and food to feed the fish would result in fish waste, which converts to nitrates for the plants. Nitrate, which water from the fish waste is given to the plants, and the plants absorb nitrates and purify water. Purified water returned to the fish tank, and the cycle repeats over and over and over. A question as to why these forms of gardens farming aren't incorporated nationwide? Well, the startup costs, so the materials needed to create all the tanks and the systems themselves, supplying the crops and plants, would be a major withdrawal to it. Also, space. Many cities are often packed and don't have the space for these type of systems, so they won't be able to actually develop them and include them into the cities. Another one would be maintenance, so who's checking the plants, water, and the fish, along with some plants aren't accessible or they can survive in different climates. So we can incorporate this nationwide, possibly. Another one would be tragedy commons. So people in populated areas may take advantage of the system and ruin the cycle. So the plants or the fish could get removed from the system and basically ruin the whole thing, and that's a waste of money. To connect the eco column back to Unit 2, we have the subheading of 2.4, which speaks upon ecological tolerance, an organism's ability to survive under ideal conditions for its species and its effect on the growth and survivability of a species/organism. In the terrestrial chamber, or the top layer, we have the soil and plants, which we regularly watered, and we checked for proper drainage, which allowed for consistent growth of our plants. Otherwise, this could negatively impact our plants' health. In the filter chamber, we have sand and gravel, which helped filter the water as it was going to the aquatic chamber. Poor circulation can lead to low oxygen levels within the aquatic chamber. And in the aquatic chamber, we had our elodia, which was getting cycled the water that we passed in the terrestrial chamber. Low oxygen levels can have affected the plants' survivability within the water because of the introduction from the terrestrial chamber, along with a chemical imbalance. So too much nutrients can have negatively impact the plant itself and messed up the entire chamber.
For Unit 4 incorporation, per Unit 4, the fundamental concepts of soil composition and properties, as mentioned in 4.3, provide a foundation for which forms and proportions within the soil to use in order to sustain a healthy and nearly self-sustaining form of agriculture. As reflected within the eco column, the two different chambers serve two entirely different purposes, and these functions are provided by the incorporation of different types of soil. Within the terrestrial chamber, the top chamber filled with plants, we fill it with gravel and potting soil, which allowed for the plants to receive proper nutrients without getting waterlogged. The composition of the soil within the filter chamber allows for the filtration of water to reach the aquatic chamber free of impurities, sand, silt, and soil. Unit 5 Incorporation. Per topic 5.11 Ecological Footprint, the eco columns provide a small scale of the ecosystem. An ecological footprint considers how much someone or a group consumes in an area of land. Some factors can include food production, raw materials, and other resources as well. Moreover, the amount of light, water, and nutrients that are available to the plants in the eco column can reflect on how resources can be limited. Using too much or too little of a resource can alter the ecosystem's stability. If the eco column survives with minimal inputs, it shows a low ecological footprint. The eco column also reflects on what happens if it collapses, the plants dying, demonstrating what happens when ecosystems are overstressed. Overall, making sustainable choices is essential to preserving an ecosystem, just as it is to preserving the earth. Thank you.